Hello everyone, it's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here, and this is my 2 cents, a Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous production. It sounds all cool when I say that. Well, something happened. I got the bug. I don't know why. I was salty after the last video. I was frustrated, but I started to realize something. I hadn't been using my gaming systems downstairs for quite a bit, and yeah, I had to wipe one. I think I talked about this in the last video, but I had to wipe one. Seems that my friend's daughter, who was playing Roblox on it, downloaded some pretty bad things that were causing me issues. There was actually one virus or a piece of malware on there that was actually having my computer join a bot army. It was just nuts. Fixed, and a lot of the stutters and lockups that I had actually went away after spending that 90 minutes of reinstalling the initial image that I had created for my computer. So things seem to be working. I got the bug to get back into the game in that last session, that last salty session. And I played a lot on Sunday morning. I got up at like 6 and played until almost 8 o'clock, 2 hours. The first 45 minutes of it, I started over, re-rolled with Cosmic Cat. I want to do a playthrough with Cosmic Cat. Well, we picked up a box run, which is the initial one. It's like the audition that you get. And you go out to some either Shubin mining facility or someplace somewhere else on either Clio or Calliope, and you come back and you land on a rooftop and put it into one of those vending machines, a locker. Now, I take off. I didn't take off right away. I sat at the ship console for a while because I have 5 ships. I have a Nomad, an Aurora LX, I have a Pisces, I have an Avenger, and I have a Cutlass. Well, the Cutlass I thought was going to be too much to start with on this because it's kind of like, it's cool. It's probably absolutely the best ship I own, and that's what I should have started with. But instead I said, let me start with another ship. So I said, let's take the Cutlass out of the mix and let's go with the 4. And let's let D&D rules, let's let my 4-sided die decide which one I'm going for. So 1, the LX, 2, the Titan, 3, the Nomad, and 4, the Pisces. I rolled, and 3, to my dismay, came up. So maybe I'm going to be absolutely upset that I started with the Nomad, but I had a pretty good run with the Nomad, except for the first run. So I made it all the way out to, I think it was Calliope, one of the Shubin mining facilities, picked up the box, flew all the way back to New Babbage, landed on the rooftop, and it was a major storm. Wind was blowing. It had to be blowing at 100 knots, basically. When I turned around after exiting the ship with the box and was knocked over almost immediately by the wind, which I don't understand, that was pretty cool. But I turn around and look at my ship. My ship is just rocking back and forth like there's no tomorrow. Like, what's going on in my ship now that I'm gone? I turned off the engines, I always do, just in case someone gets on the ship. I think something tells me they can't activate anything because I don't have permission, so I always turn off the engines. Sometimes I turn off everything, but I turned off the engines. So here's the ship rocking, but it looks pretty stable. It's almost in the middle of the building. Well, I go into the little area where the locker is, so now I'm actually protected against the negative 60 degrees Celsius cold. And I start hearing this grinding, scraping sound. I'm waiting for the locker to open. The locker opens. I put the box in there. I step back. The box comes back in my hand, and I'm like, what? So I moved up to the locker again, put the box in there, and the box went in without me moving. And I'm like, oh, so maybe I just can't move back after I put the box in there. That's great. Now I hear a big giant scrape and kind of a boom sound, but not an explosion, like a bang. So the box gives me credit, says, you completed your mission, everything is perfect, everything's hunky-dory. I leave, I go outside, my ship is gone. It's gone. I look over the railing and I see my ship. I must have just been out there when the ship started to fall, and I see my ship falling to the ground below and exploding. Yeah, that happened. That happened. So I completed the mission, got the 1,000, and I said, all right, I'm going to walk away for a few minutes and just try to figure that one out. Yeah, I couldn't. Didn't. It just happened. So I'm like, all right, these are things that are going to happen in the game now, and I probably should have picked the Cutlass because it most likely wouldn't have been banging back and forth. Who designed the Consolidated Outland Nomad with, I'm trying to get this out, but why does it hover? Why doesn't it have landing gear? It looked amazing with landing gear. It's stupid with that anti-gravity maglev system underneath it. I don't like it. But my ship was gone. So I logged out, took a few minutes, I took my shower, I came back, and I said, you know what? I'm going to play for an hour. All I need to do is get back in the game and get some things done. Now, there are bugs in this session, and they're more annoying than they are frustrating. One of them was I couldn't eat anything today. Every time I bought something and tried to eat it, it would just disappear and not give me any credit for eating. So I had to go to the juice bar and buy those special slushies or whatever they call them. And that's what I was able to eat for the day. So that was one of the bugs. The other bug was you got to stand right next to the lockers when you put the boxes in there, or they wind up back in your hands again. And that happens a lot in the game. So I chose the Nomad here, and I'm going back out. So this video is really going to be about the session that I had that really shows me that, yeah, we can be too hard on Star Citizen sometimes because it is alpha. And alpha is about building out the systems and getting them in the game as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible, without breaking the world. And beta is about tuning everything, finding the bugs, and squashing them. So we're still in alpha. And I think we're going to be in alpha for a long time as we move more and more of the star systems in. But it's where we're at. There's the Nomad. There's most likely nothing that you can say that makes you feel like it's beautiful. But like a Ford Ranger or any other pickup truck, it's not beautiful. It's purpose-built, right? This is that very first ship that you're going to get in Star Citizen. One of the most expensive ones at $95 as a first ship. But it's a first ship, has decent firepower, has decent range, decent cargo carrying capacity, has a bed inside so you could log out in different places, even has a toilet. Don't know why. I think it has a toilet, at least. It might have a toilet. I'm not 100% sure about that. Well, if it does, wow. It has access to get at your avionics and your different systems. There's my coolers, I believe. And I believe these over here are my seal. Yeah, those are seals. Yeah, those are my shields. So, gives me access to things. Pretty cool. I think there's another bay in the back that lets me see things. And the cargo bay can hold a small rover, I think. I remember a video where I tried to put a rock in this and it blew up both of them. So I'm not sure if that's been corrected, but it's something that probably doesn't need to be corrected till we get closer to beta. Anyway, I'm going to decide to do a particular mission because I have an idea. And my idea, I hope it plays out. The idea is to pick up one of these sessions where I have to go out and pick up the boxes at 3 locations and deliver them to 1. I find those more rewarding than picking up the 3 at one place and delivering all over the place. That just drives me crazy. I don't know why. I think it's because when you're actually done, you're done, you have nowhere else to fly. Whereas when you fly out, pick up the 3 boxes, you then have to go and fly to 3 different places. So Maybe I'm just absolutely absurd with the way I'm thinking about that, but it works, right? It works for me. Anyway, we're going to leave. We're going to get taken off. We're going to go pick up the first box, which is going to be on a rooftop. It's nighttime over here, and we're going to have to make an effort to try to land on a building and not get blown right off. And that's something that I'm hoping is better than my last instance. All right, our first waypoint right in front of us. Now, we have to get closer for the box to appear, but we're going to be landing on a rooftop, and I'm approaching this slow because I'm trying to see what the wind is. I want to think about how I'm going to make this landing, and I just did, and if I'm going to leave the engines on or not. I think I just turned the engines off, and we exit. Let's go get that box and pray that this doesn't go flying off the roof again. Now, if that continues to happen, there's going to be a very quick shift from a Nomad to the far more capable Avenger Titan, and less expensive. But if you're trying to carry a lot of cargo, I think they carry right around the same. I'm going to have to look that up. But I think that if you're going to do a variety of different missions, I'm thinking the Avenger Titan might have been a better choice, even though this was more random. All right. So I don't hear anything. Nothing's going on outside. That's good. No scraping. No banging. Yeah, I might be able to leave here and see my ship still there. It wasn't rocking when we left. Nope, it's perfectly stable on the roof, but there is no storm going on, so this proved nothing so far. All right. That went off without a hitch. All right, time to deliver this box. We're now going to put it down on the back plate right over here. And it looks like it actually stayed there. That's good. Go and get off this roof and get on to the next waypoint, which should be on Calliope. And that's going to be a fun one. So lots of things have been implemented in the game since I left. The volumetric clouds are actually pretty awesome. Maybe I was here when they were first here, but I wasn't here for the version of them that now exists. I was very happy to see that I can walk around now on Orison without having stuttery graphics. Now, I do have 6800 XT as opposed to the 2070 Ti I had, but I mean, is that really such a big upgrade? Maybe it is. I mean, that's next generation from it. I'm not sure if it is a big upgrade or not. I think it's a marginal upgrade. It just gives me a little bit better ray tracing than what I had before. All right, we are approaching this area, and I like it. It looks like it might be in a storm again. There's a lot of wind down there. I see snow blowing around. I see the occlusion. That's from whatever's going on down here. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. I'm going to keep my left side to the door to make it easier to get in and out. And let's go down and let's see what happens. All right. Just a little bit more. All right, good. All right, turn off the engines. Let's get going. So easy. So we're actually on an outpost, not on Calliope. This is absolutely Microtech. And the reason for that is we had 2 on Microtech and 1 on Calliope. And then they all have to be delivered to Clio. So this is a Shubin mining facility somewhere out in the wilderness. I never know what they're... Oh, God, I forgot my helmet. We are absolutely going to add another waypoint to this whole trip, and it's because I forgot my helmet. And we're going to have to go back to New Babbage Spaceport so I could access my inventory that is part of that whole area. You don't have like your own hangars or space right now that you have to keep inventory in. Right now, all your inventory is just kept in the home city's inventory, and that's kind of wild. So we have to go back and get it, because although I could leave the ship in minus 58 degree, minus 35, minus 18 degree without any head covering at all and still be alive, on Calliope and Cleo, I believe the atmosphere is too thin to breathe. At least it should be. And oh, there's the rocking I was talking about. That is what was happening on top of that. Okay, we have to fix that. We have to fix that. No jokes, all right? No jokes about if you see the ship a-knocking. Rocking, don't come a-knocking. That is just... That's the horrible design of this ship. The landing system on the ship. I don't like the floaty float. I know some of you might. I understand they have to show Xi'an technology integration, and that's what's on some of the Xi'an ships, right? That would be like on the Aopa series ship. But I don't think that's the piece of technology they should have integrated. Like scanners and engines and maybe life support or damage control, something else, shields being theirs, their color, the way that your quantum field looks when you're in quantum. All those could have been Xi'an, but they picked this floaty thing, and it just doesn't work for me. Oh, that's it. Right there. Right there. That's the bug I'm talking about. And it comes right back into your hand. So we're going to have to drop it in order to place it. No, I could just leave it right there, but for some reason my OCD does not let me leave it there because it's not where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to move it in there. I don't care if it's straight. I'm just going to put it, and I'm going to stand still. All right. I thought it was back in my hand for a second. That drove me crazy. All right, let's get out of here. All right. We have to land here. And this is one of the decisions that Star Citizen made that I really don't support. Having to put your nice ship through a hole and land down below. I could just see in real life so many bad things happening. And this would be like if they forced a Harrier to land into the hangar deck itself by flying through the side of the carrier's hangar bay door. I don't think that would ever happen, work. I don't think it would be useful, but it's fun. I'm going to suck it up. I always have. Sometimes I think it's really cool, but I challenge the decision to actually make us land this way from time to time because it's a pain in the butt with the current avionics that we have in these ships. It would have been so much easier if they kept the landing assistance that we had before with the little circle with the ship in it so you knew where you were. And maybe I'm missing that in this game. I don't see it implemented. I just remember it way back when the first Arena Commander came out, where you were able to fly around to the different platforms. So we're out, we're stuck, and we're just going to have to stand here and get our helmet on. Should be it. All right. Can see that little dot, drop the helmet on it, and I'm good. Now I have no problem getting out of my ship, should I need to, and we're going to make use of getting out of here as quickly as possible. With our helmet on, we can make our way to Calliope. Now, Calliope it's a cold world. It's windy, it's snowy, it's barren. I don't know what else to say about it, but I do find it kind of refreshing to have different environments on the different moons or satellites of these planets that are in the Stanton system. I think Cleo and Calliope are a lot of alike, but I feel like there has to be some differences. So one day I'm going to go and get one of my gray cats, or I'll get a cyclone, and I'll just go ripping around this place trying to see if I could see what differences there are between the two moons, Cleo and Calliope. Those are the two I usually go to. I don't go to the third that often, but we're going to land here at Calliope and we're going to do two things. We're going to pick up the box, and then we're going to go get some agricium. Landing again, trying to keep that door as close to where we have to pick up the box as possible. Might turn out to be hugely A miscalculation though, because I still do have to go and find the console where I buy whatever I'm buying here. I have to see if they have Agricium. That's what it is. So it's a typical Shubin mining facility. One of the larger layouts that I've seen. And we're going to get out of here as quickly as possible. Box in hand. Now, the reason why I'm not just cutting to the ship right now is because I need to see if leaving off the engines in a storm... Nope. It's just sitting there. It ain't rocking. It ain't rolling. It's just there. Alright, cool. Not bad. Alright, so we have to get this box inside, and then we have to get over to wherever the console is to buy the Agricium. Yeah, I do believe it's off, but it looks like there's some wind whipping up like behind the ship. So I went through every one of these different buildings until I found this one, and I used to know how to find the one that had the mineral console in it or the cargo console in it, and I forget what that item is that I'm looking for, but this was the one that was closest to the place where you would summon your ship if you had it here, or summon a vehicle. So we've made our way over to Cleo as quickly as we could, and we're going to try to get ourselves to land again as close to that building as possible and face our door over there so we can make an ingress and egress as quickly as possible from the ship and get our boxes over to it. This is for a whopping 8K. At this point, I've been flying for just under an hour. Probably a little bit more like an hour and 10 or 15 minutes. If you take into consideration all of the time I spent looking at my ship, trying to see the scenery, stopping and talking to other people. But I've only been on for about an hour of gameplay, and I'm trying to see what I can make from an hour. Alright, so my doors really just don't want to open, and sometimes I just feel like I'm William Shatner on the original Star Trek, walking into doors all the time because the person behind it that goes swish and opens the door isn't doing it. Alright, so that happened. And I also think some of those things have to do with the servers running out of memory because they're about ready to crash, and I don't know. There's always like little bugs that start to happen before a server crashes, and I think that's like one of them, like where the doors just don't work the right way. The textures, oh my god, you get thrown out of a door for no reason. What was that? Alright, so we gotta try this here. We have to go in here, click on this, and let's see if this works every time. And this is important, right? So we want to see if just standing here. No, don't move. Don't move. Good. Take my box already. See how long it took for it? It was like 3 to 5 seconds before it actually sucked it in. Okay, it just gave me the audio alert that it has accepted that box. Oh my god, what's going on with the lights? Oh, they're just blinking, telling me that oxygen is coming out of them. I could swear I just saw somebody else's ship, so I'm kind of weary. I think most people in the game are nice, but I was looking at chat for a while, and there was some vulgar and vile things that were being said there. Alright, so up the ladder. And in. Let's grab this. Alright, sometimes when I get up in this area, I'll just fall prone, and I don't know why that's happening. I'm sure it's something about collision with the ground versus collision with the floor of the ship, and the two of them aren't like really meshed together, and it thinks that you just walked off a big edge on the ground instead of the floor of the ship, and you fall. So those things have happened quite a few times in the last day and a half that I've been playing. Alright, see, and we go up, we hit the button. Let's see if this one takes, because each one of these is important for me to see. Okay, let's get over to it. Let's push the button. Stand in front, don't move. Be rigid, be like a statue. Don't blink. Okay, and it didn't come back in my hands. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead this time. All right, the third box is in hand, and we are going to, yep, we're going to go right out the door. No, right in the door. And stand right here. I think this is like the first box that we picked up. Come on, let's get it in here. We're a little bit further back than I want to be. Let's see what happens. Let's put it in. And, oh, we were just too far back. It came right back in my hands. Did you see that? I had to click place twice. But I didn't move after I put it back in my hands, so I think that might have circumnavigated that bug. And we have just made 8K. I think that's pretty good. It's actually probably not good, and I don't know if there's like some path to doing 2 or 3 of these box runs at once and them kind of working together. Like maybe you pick one that starts with 3 pickups and 1 drop off that ends with a drop off where you make 3 pickups again. I don't know. There has to be a way for all this to work out. But we got the Agricium nonetheless. We're back home, and we're going to do one thing that's very important now. We're going to try to eat because we're starting to lose a little bit of our ability to stay alive because of the very well implemented hunger and thirst system, which make no sense right now. Oh, I might have just hit drop. Did I? Well, it's nowhere. It's nowhere on the ground, so I didn't drop it. I think I hit eat. Nonetheless, we're going to go over to the kiosk. It's very important because when we landed, it told us that we needed to leave immediately because we weren't given permission, but we were. That's something that's been happening, and I found that if you just leave, your ship disappears with everything in it. You never see it again. But if you click store, it stores your ship. You don't get a fine, and everything is honky-dory. So I had a good playthrough. I can't tell you that I am the perfect person to watch for these early starts, but what I'm going to tell you is that they're definitely, like this playthrough is definitely getting me to love the game again. There's more to it. In fact, after I shot this, I went and I did at least 1 bounty hunter run, flying from Microtech all the way to Hurston, and got my bounty hunter license, I think it is, or certificate, whatever it is. And I did it in the Nomad. And it's very easy the first couple that you get. Eventually you're going to need something as big as a Cutlass or as strong as a Hornet. You're going to need something to continue bounty hunting. But I think that I'll be able to start off in this ship and make some extra money to be able to buy a different ship. We'll talk about that on the next episode, but let's see what we make. I think up 62,000, so that's just about 7. So we made just about 15K. 55, so that was 50. We made 6K, 6 and 8, 14K in an hour. That's not a lot. I've done 90K in an hour before in box runs, so this is not profitable. So there has to be a way for me to make more money in this, and I will look into that and see if there is, and if there is, it will appear here on my channel. Anyway, I really appreciate you all coming and spending the time with me, and you know, my channel is making a comeback. I'm hoping that I'm earning your trust back. I'm definitely earning my own trust back, and I'm sure I'm harder on myself than you will ever be. But I'm pretty excited about delivering Star Citizen content again. And the more I do this, the better the quality of these videos will get, and they'll get back to the quality of the videos I had before I left full-time content creation in 2016. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Don't tell me, 6 years ago. But that's when I was full-time in school. I was still doing the content creation part-time, and I was still doing it part-time up until about 2019. So it's only been the COVID years that I fell away big. And there's reasons for it, and we won't get into it. Anyway, what's coming in the future? Definitely going to put together some news videos. It's going to take me a week to 2 weeks to get those set up, but I will get those set up. And I will do a little bit of... I think the way that I started the game was by comparing ships, and I don't like that because there's more to the game than ships. But I will do comparison of different systems, different places, and we'll see how that works. Anyway, I think I've kept you long enough, and I really do appreciate you stopping by and watching my video. If you did like this one, click the thumbs up button below. If you do subscribe or are thinking about subscribe, be sure when you do to click that bell-shaped icon below to get notified of all my future videos, because YouTube, you know what I'm saying. All right, and with that said, folks, you all be safe out there. I'm going to get a drink, and I'll talk to you soon.